Hello everybody, welcome to the answers for the practice test on the experimental method. The first thing that you were asked to do was write an outline for the paper towel scenario. With the outline, I'm going to go through the answers in order. You wouldn't necessarily do it in that order as you fill it out. So our title, our question, how does the brand of paper towel affect its absorbency? We want to make sure we have in there our manipulated variable and our responding variable. Our hypothesis, I think that the Brawny will be best because it is the most expensive. We want to make sure that we have in there the think and then the because so that you can get full credit. Our manipulated variable was the brand of paper towel. Our scenario gave you 4 different experimental groups, the Kirkland, the School, the Brawny, and the Bounty. And we are going to be conducting 4 trials. This information you would need to make up. That wasn't given in the scenario, but remember you need at least 3 trials to be effective. Our responding variable is the mass of the wet paper towel in grams. And then some controls that we need to think about as we conduct this experiment so that everybody conducts it the same. That we're using the same scale to measure the weight of the paper towel. That we're using the same size paper towel. The same amount of time for the paper towel to be submerged in water. The same drip time when we take it out of the water prior to finding the mass. And then finally, we want to use the same water container. Now again, these controls are not given to you in the scenario. You're going to have to make up your own information. For example, again, we made up the amount of trials. So your trials might be different than mine, and that's okay. Again, as long as you have 3 or more. Our controls are going to be different as well. We're having to come up with our own information. You have to decide the size of the paper towel that you're going to use in your experiment. You're going to have to determine the amount of time that your paper towel is sitting in the water. You're going to have to determine the drip time before you put it onto the scale to find its mass. Those are things that you're going to make up. Your controls might, again, not exactly match mine, but you want to have 2 or 3 the same. Again, they could be worded differently.
All right, now here's our part on their procedure, and yours won't look maybe word for word like the one that you're going to see looks like, but you should have a couple of things definitely in it. So my procedure I made was cut a 4" by 4" square Brownie paper towel, and I just made up that size. Find the mass of the dry square that you cut out. Submerge the paper towel completely underwater for 5 seconds. Remove the paper towel from the water and let it drip over the container for 5 seconds. Place the wet paper towel on the balance and find the new mass of the wet paper towel. Subtract the wet paper towel mass from the dry mass to find the mass of water only. Record this mass. Repeat steps 1 through 6 for a total of 4 trials. Repeat steps 1 through 7 for all the following brands of paper towels: School, Kirkland, Bounty, and Brawny. Now again, you're not going to probably be word for word like I am here, but here's some things that should be just like it. First of all, the first part of your procedure should only talk about how to do one thing one time. Notice all the way through 5, I'm only talking about 1 4 by 4" square of one kind of paper towel. That's just writing it for a single manipulated variable. Okay? That has to be in there. You shouldn't be talking about 4 or 5 things up here. The next thing, your last 2 sentences should start with the terms repeat steps. If they don't, you'll be marked down. The first repeat steps needs to talk about your trials. The second repeat steps needs to cover your groups. So, and then finally, you need to have a specific statement with the word record that says exactly what you're going to be, how you're going to be measuring whatever you did. So again, we need all of those things. Your words and your wording and your order that you did it can be a little bit different, but you need to talk about one thing, you need to end with repeat steps, and you need to make sure that you write record. And here's our conclusion for our data that we had. And it said the school paper towels were the most absorbent. The school paper towel held an average of 24 grams. The next most absorbent was the Bounty brand that held 23 grams. The Brawny brand was the third most absorbent with an average of 20.3 held. The least absorbent was the Kirkland brand of paper towel that held an average of 19.3. Therefore, the school paper towels were the most absorbent. Again, your wording may not be exactly like mine, but you should be starting out with a declarative statement about how the experiment turned out. Next, you have to support that statement with data, with numbers. If you have no numbers in your conclusion, you absolutely cannot get any credit for your conclusion if we don't see specific data and include all of it. Finally, this isn't a must, but it's a good idea. Have some sort of a concluding statement that really is just kind of a repeat of your beginning statement. Finally, the real important thing is just those numbers need to agree with what you said right there. And mine do. I said the school's paper towels were the most absorbent. They held the most water. So again, declarative statement about how the experiment turned out along with exact numbers. Make sure you have those in there. Don't say that's what the data shows or you get no credit. So you're going to be able to use this on your regular test, and you're going to want it because the regular test is going to be on paper towels as well, but you will be having to make up almost all of it, just like you will on the MSP. So good luck on your test, and good job viewing this movie and doing the practice test.